Clerk.
This meeting is being held in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-6 et sec, notice which was being sent to the record and was posted on the municipal bulletin board.
Okay, roll call, please.
Councilwoman Von Rudenborg.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Sims.
Here.
Councilman Battaglia.
Here.
Mayor LaBrus.
Here. Would everybody please rise for the flag salute? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. And I'm happy to say we have a couple of proclamations to make tonight. So, without further ado, bear with me. Okay, our first proclamation is for Deacon Robert Farrar, and coming up to accept for him is Juanita Marsh. Are you here tonight?
His niece.
This is his niece. Come on up, come on up. And we know Deacon Farrar is an elderly gentleman because I see he was born in 1922. So, whereas Deacon Robert Farrar, Jr. was born October 2nd, 1922 in Virginia. He and his family transitioned to Hackensack when he was 2 years old. He received his early education through the Hackensack public school system and served his country during World War II. And whereas Deacon Farrar attended Howard University and received a political science degree in 1952, he worked in Washington, D.C. for the government, but chose to return to Hackensack to fulfill his lifelong ambition of construction work. He became a brother of Friendship Lodge No. 2 of Jersey City, New Jersey in 1963. And whereas in 1970, Deacon Farrar married Ann Hampton and is father of 2 children, Donald and Roberta, who gifted him with 3 granddaughters and 4 great-grandchildren. And whereas Deacon Farrar has been a faithful member of Mount Zion, serving as Sunday school teacher, financial secretary, and has done various construction jobs around the church. Now, therefore, I, John P. LaBrus, Jr., Mayor of the City of Hackensack, along with members of the City Council, do hereby recognize Deacon Robert Farrar, Jr. for his achievements and contributions to the community. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to present you with this plaque to your uncle. Thank you. It's our pleasure. You might as well stay here.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And now could I please have Reverend Dr. Robert L. Curry come forward, please. Bless your heart for being here. I don't know why I took my glasses off, but can't see without them. And there's another proclamation from the Office of the Mayor of the City of Hackensack, and it reads, whereas Reverend Dr. Robert L. Curry was happily married to Thelma Williams until she was called to rest on September 3rd, 1994, and on August 25th, 2001, he married Neola Princess Jones, who he licensed to evangelize the gospel in 2002. Whereas Reverend Curry is the proud father of 2 children, Gwendolyn and Eugene, who gifted him with 5 grandchildren and 5 great-grandchildren, and a stepson, Carl Jones. And whereas in 1957, Reverend Curry moved to New York City from Florida, and in 1966, he accepted the call to the gospel ministry and was ordained in 1968. He has served as pastor of Mount Zion Baptist Church since 1969, where he began a beautification program to restore the interior and exterior of the edifice, along with an addition which was completed in 1979. He is also the author of Mount Zion's motto, "The Church with the Big Heart." And whereas on September 24th, Reverend Curry celebrated his 48th anniversary as pastor of Mount Zion Baptist Church, South Hackensack, as a man with a heart for ministry. And whereas Reverend Curry served as a member of the Citizens Advisory Committee on Urban Renewal and as a member of the NAACP, along with serving as chaplain of the local fire department, he also has received numerous awards and honors. Now, therefore, I, John P. LaBrosse Jr., Mayor of the City of Hackensack, along with members of the Hackensack City Council, do hereby recognize Reverend Dr. Robert L. Curry for his devoted heart for leadership and for his work to members of the community. Thank you so much, sir.
On behalf of the City Council, Dr. Reverend Curry is retiring in September next year. Right now, that will be his 50th year, the oldest preacher, reverend, a doctor in Bergen County, and we salute you with these flowers. Years is a long time.
Well deserved.
One more, right here in front of you.
Oh, sorry.
That's it. One more.
Make sure I have it set up.
I need to have my own. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank all of you.
Thank you very much to the mayor and to the council and to the city of Hackensack. God bless you. Thank you so much. This is my first time receiving a bouquet of flowers, and I should cherish this forever. God bless you. Thank you so much.
Yes. We're going to all stand for the pledge. Right? They'll stay stood. Okay, I have one more thing to do before we start our regular business. Several years back, Hackensack joined on to become a stigma-free municipality. I'm happy to say I was at the State of the County address today, and Mr. Tedesco, our county executive, was speaking, and I believe he said we have over 60 communities involved in stigma-free in Bergen County, which is an excellent record in such a short amount of time to have that many people involved. It's a great thing. Anybody, I see some of the green shirts here. I see Ryan here.
Come join us.
Could you guys come join us up here, please? Anybody that's involved with the stigma-free organization, please come forward.
Representative Salvo Township.
Yep.
Yep, come on, come forward here.
I believe Paramus just last week or a couple weeks ago became stigma-free. Who was it just became stigma-free? Was it Paramus? I think it was Paramus.
The first one.
They were the first one?
Closer.
Closter? Okay. Yeah, I saw somebody else had joined.
Turn and face it.
Yeah, let's face them. The people standing in front of us are on stigma-free committees, most of them from this town. Ryan is from Saddlebrook. These people put in their time and effort to help stamp out some of the stigmas that people face everyday life, whether it's a mental illness or a disability or anything, anything at all. I'm going to read the pledge while we all stand here, and I hope you all listen very closely to it. And if you all would repeat after me. I pledge
I pledge
to recognize my own prejudices,
to recognize my own prejudices,
to learn about stigmas in society,
to learn about stigmas in society,
and share my findings with others,
and share my findings with others,
to talk to people about the societal
to talk to people about the societal
stigma of mental illness,
stigma of mental illness,
include people with mental illness,
include people with mental illness,
physical and developmental disabilities
physical and developmental disabilities
in my life,
in my life,
avoid and discourage
avoid and discourage
name calling,
name calling,
and stand up for those
and stand up for those
who are stigmatized.
who are stigmatized.
Take the pledge online and share. Now, everybody in this room is welcome to join. Anybody can join this organization, the more the merrier. We actually encourage people to get involved in this, and I want to thank everybody here it's a volunteer effort. I want to thank anybody who volunteers gets my vote, and kudos from me and everybody on this council, I'm sure, because it takes time to do these things, and we appreciate the effort that's put in. So how about a round of applause for our volunteers for starting?
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
Thanks for all your work, hard work. You too.
All right. There's copies of the pledge on the table along with the website for anybody who might want to sign up. All right. So grab a sheet on your way out and give it a thought. Thank you. Thank you. It's good to see you, Di.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all. Okay. You want to take a 2-minute recess? We're going to take, for people who want to leave that don't want to stay for the council meeting, people who are here for the ceremony don't feel obligated to stay. You're more than welcome to stay. We'd love to have you, but if you'd like to leave, feel free. We're going to take a 2-minute recess. Okay, we have a couple of presentations, so I'm going to bring up, I guess, our city manager is going to sit over here in left field and do this from over here tonight.
Thank you. Last year, we did the city manager's report for 2016, and I read 43 slides. I will not repeat that mistake again. I almost got laryngitis out of that. So we're going to make this much shorter, so there are additional time for other matters, but I will say this much. I was fortunate to have at the COW meeting, Albert Dibb, our Director of Redevelopment, who basically went through all of the slides for the redevelopment, and there were 3 pages of them. Those slides identify all of the redevelopment updates and projects that are before the city as we soldier through all of these. For the record, every one of these slides and this entire presentation will be posted on the city's website. So you have the ability to watch the videotape of the COW meeting that was previously recorded, and you will also have the ability to go through these slides that are going to be posted on the city's website. So we're going to progress up to the project manager in reference to current capital projects completed. The Performing Arts Center was opened and has been successful. There has been numerous shows that have now been presented to the success of the vision that was identified by the mayor and council that put this together. The State Street two-way conversion, phase 1 has been completed. There's a couple of parking signs and a couple issues that we need to address, but for the most part, that project is complete. The streetscape for Anderson Street and Ward Street, phase 1 has been completed. Before you, you have the slides that show the upgrades that have occurred in the city. The city's CDBG street paved, it lists all the streets there in the city. There were 10 of them. The additional streets have been paved. We had an arrangement with Mr. Sanzari in reference to milling and paving of West Franklin Street by the Columbus Park, which turned out very nice. Tony Sedita, while still employed, put his special touch on that, replaced the railings. The park really made a noticeable improvement and really came out nice. We also, through the efforts of New Jersey Transit Railroad Crossing, which Wayne was involved in, all of the intersections for the train crossings were updated: Main Street, Euclid, Atlantic, Berry, and Anderson. We're still working on the LED lighting upgrades, which would be all city buildings, and they're all listed there. We get to the police department, which is reporting that they received 108,542 calls for service. It gives the general breakdown of all the arrests, training, accidents that occurred, reported hit and runs, and all of the information and how many cases the Detective Bureau, Youth Bureau, BCI, and Narcotics Division handled. They have their listed training report. Training is a huge component of a police department and the efficiency and obviously the skill set of these officers. There is mandatory training, which is listed below, which includes firearms, batons, the updates of either Supreme Court or case that these officers go through. Go ahead, Howard. We have our Constable report, who basically is an arm of the police department that handles local ordinance, building, health code, and fire issues. Everything from landscaping, snow plowing, garage sales, summonses, littering. Obviously, it lists that we added a component of written warnings last year, which the city is trying to obviously improve our relationships with our local business and everything, but it does give a general reminder to people and also documents that the offense, if they continue to occur, we can take the next step or action. We also have the service of HCOPS. These are members that donate 3,824 hours, and they provide a necessary service which obviously helps the city when we just need some attention and some direction at a site without obviously incurring the cost of either a full-time police officer or a Class 2 special. Our fire department obviously lists the number of incidents that they have handled, which is 7,251. Those obviously provide the breakdown of everything from fire, explosions, rescue, hazardous condition, service calls, good intent calls, false alarms, and severe weather and disaster. The fire department obviously provides a necessary service to the city and does it with pride. And if you see at the very bottom there are 5 Narcan saves, which is a whole new component that our police department and fire department are now challenged with. We also have a very, very active fire prevention that does a lot of the, well, not a lot, it does all of our inspections. There were 9,385, and it lists all of the different categories that the fire department handled. Obviously, our fire department is very active in the community. tries to educate as much as they can, and also basically the give back from everything from community toy drives to educational programs to obviously officers or firefighters that read at the schools, but they're always striving to develop a relationship with our youth of this community. Education, is similar to the police department, is the base of the improvements and the excellence of the fire department and the officers that are sworn for that. They have over 250 hours of teaching safety and information to the community. Plus, you, from personal experience, you learn that when you teach, you learn with the students, and it basically builds your skill set. So these officers are really basically building their own skill set, but certainly keeping our residents and our youth and the community safe. This is a slide that shows the honor guard, which has been respected. They actually did a presentation at MetLife Stadium. We received a new fire truck that replaced a truck that was reached the end of its life cycle. The Hackensack Police Department, Hackensack Fire Department, obviously there's a standard, I believe it's 20 years, that once these trucks reach that point, they take them out of service, so we've replaced them. This next slide identifies the building department and its commitment to the city. Obviously, if you watch the prior slides, you will see the absolute yeoman's job that the building department does with inspections and permits. The city of Hackensack spends a lot of time, and candidly, we provide that service to our Bergen County, which is a large component of all the buildings and inspections. For the city, there's no fee charge, and we don't collect anything for that service. And obviously, all these big construction projects. So we are building our skill set. We're adding staff to meet the challenges and needs of the city because of the redevelopment. But rest assured that all of these buildings and all this construction is properly and approved to the state standards that have been established. The city is clearly not cutting any corners when it comes to inspection, redevelopment, or the building of these buildings. Our municipal court. Obviously, you can check this slide later or read it, but the total tickets entered 42,426. Tickets disposed of, meaning that they've been cleared from court, is 44,646. 664. So basically, we've taken in and disposed of almost an equal number. It obviously identifies the amount of cases that have been entered and also disposed of. The court here in the city of Hackensack is very busy. We have a big docket that's handled several times a week to address these issues. Our tax collectors. The city of Hackensack has a wonderful tax collecting department. They are always revered. They do an excellent job. We now have the ability, obviously, to make payments by the use of credit cards or electronically, which is a big component. I know that seniors, I don't understand completely, but they would prefer to come to City Hall to pay their taxes than put a stamp on it or mail it in or come in. But that's their choice, and we certainly provide that service. And obviously, you pay your taxes keeps the lights on and our employees employed and paid. So we appreciate that. The tax assessor, we had a presentation earlier. Jim Mangan was here. Obviously, we did some explaining of how our tax assessor is working and how we have a rolling assessment so we stay current. That program will take us to the end of 2019. But instead of communities, and I've worked in one where they didn't have a tax reval in 32 years, it almost created a mutiny. So keeping the property values assessed properly and keeping taxes in compliance is a value to the property owner and certainly to the city. Next is the demonstration of our DPW, who maintains 6 pump stations, 3 sewer, 3 storm. Obviously, we continue to work at the stormwater, brown water separation. It lists the amount of trees planted, the trees removed. Obviously, the people from the Shade Tree Commission would prefer that those numbers of replacement trees would be higher, but candidly, we've had to address a lot of trees that should have been removed in previous years, but we just placed one of our DPW workers to sit on the Shade Tree Commission, and I'm sure that with some more exchange, we will get that letter, or that number to balance. This DPW chart shows the snow removal and the salt of city roads, the repairs, the amount of vehicles, the maintenance that we do for the city hall, the health department, police department, fire department, and rec center, and all of our other individual buildings. It'll list the amount of sewer repairs, pothole replacements, street cleanups. There's a picture of our new DPW sanitation truck. This was an issue prior to my service. We have purchased 2. We're in the movement for 2018 to purchase 2 more DPW sanitation trucks. So we're going to get our fleet up to, I think, a great standard and continue to meet the needs and challenges of the city when it comes to either sanitation or Department of Public Works. Are you caught up there, Albert?
Yeah.
Okay. Obviously, they show hot patch completed, 8,095. Cold patch, 110. So we're in the height of the start of pothole season here. They've starting. This is going to be a tough challenge because of the heating and cooling and the frost. And until we get some steady weather here, 1 second it's almost 80 degrees, and the next minute it's 32 degrees. So that heaving really causes a problem. So you'll see me in my city manager's report list the telephone number for people to report potholes. We certainly encourage people to bring these potholes to our attention. Of course, I know the answer is, well, you see them, why don't you just fill them in? We don't need to report them. Unfortunately, sometimes they get missed, and sometimes the communication part is not complete, but we certainly encourage you folks to do so.
Take advantage of crowdsourcing.
There you go. Next. So there's that big, beautiful sanitation truck. They seem to be very nice. Total garbage collected, 17,923.93 tons at a cost of $1,191,967.33. Sanitation's expensive, but it's a necessary thing. Our health department, vital records, births, marriages, deaths, try to keep people healthy and safe. Obviously, flu shots, clinics, doing lead paint issues and trying to keep children safe, animal licenses, cats and dogs. Our health department takes care of all of this. Okay, it lists its accomplishments. The Paint the Town Pink campaign for breast cancer awareness was big. We just replaced the purchase and install of the electronic sign in front of the city hall. We still continue to hold annual rabies clinics for residents. That electronic billboard was out there to advertise and promote healthcare issues for the city, and it was kind of out of service for a couple of years prior to my service, but the awareness and the communication seems to be the key thing for the city, and we are certainly working towards being completely successful at that. Our library. The library has 56,619 books and magazines. There's an exchange. Our library obviously spends much of its time helping with our very young and certainly some of our seniors who may not be computer literate or understand all of these components, but Sharon and her staff really go out of their way to help the residents and the visitors of the Hackensack Library. Go ahead, Albert. Recreation. Recreation is a very big component of the city of Hackensack. Obviously, the city is established and tried to provide as many recreational programs to provide structure and development of our youth. Those programs are identified on this slide and certainly on the website. A lot of the people that are on this council have been coaches for years. The mayor, the deputy mayor, Mr. Pataglia for soccer. These people have all gone out of their way to make sure that the youth of this community get its best chance and its best development here. So we continue to strive to be better. The new piece for the city is the Cultural Arts Center, which opened to great success. We've had several of programs there. We have people that are coming to the city to basically hold programs there and have entertainment. It's not 100% perfect. We don't have all the bugs out of it yet, but this is a whole new chapter, something that I've never been exposed to before. But each day we learn and each day we try to be better. Right now we're working at getting the establishment of the rules and the procedures, but we are making progress. Culture Arts Center, the cleanup days, slam the junk, over 200 volunteers, Make a Difference Day, 150 volunteers. The city of Hackensack is always trying to develop programs that involves people who want to volunteer and make a difference in their community, and we certainly applaud them. 2017 Oprah request.
This is the, sorry, city clerk. So for whatever reason, there's a sheet missing.
Okay.
This is the city clerk.
Our city clerk's office is basically the secretary of the mayor and council, but they also have other responsibilities from everything from making sure that they maintain the records for the city. But right there, Oprah requests, 893, raffle licenses, obviously the documentation of council meetings, COW meetings, closed session meeting notes. There's a lot of paperwork and a lot of documentation that comes through the clerk's office, plus all of our elections. It's a big job, and they do a nice job, and it's sometimes a little overwhelming because these Oprah requests clearly take up time. And I understand the purpose of Oprah, but it is a burden on the city, especially when people blindly list, virtually decades of time and years for information that takes time for somebody to research and pull through. Our auditing department, Jim Magan, who's the CFO, has done a yeoman's job. He started prior to my service, but obviously the city had some real issues with tax appeals and the finances, and we're pretty much out of the woods of where we used to be, and now I don't know if I can use the word smooth sailing from here on, but we seem to have a bright path that seems to be working forward. And with this rolling assessment, I think the city will be well served, and we will be firmly planted in 2019 for the future and to meet the challenges and the needs of the city. In this auditing report, which I'm not going to read every slide here, all of this information will be presented as stated previously on the city's website, all these slides, so all this information can be recovered. Below is the overview of Hackensack and the use of our website, and it gives how many people have basically hits on our website and the youth or the age bracket of these people that are going through. And the spike is usually in July because people are looking to find out when the fireworks are here. I can proudly announce that through the efforts of the city manager's office, that fireworks is here to come another year, and Jacqueline Stout has done a fantastic job, and we've held the price at last year's price. So I guess hopefully gunpowder doesn't go up, and we are going to continue to have a great celebration for July 4th. And that would be the city manager's overview report for 2017.
Okay.
I just got to do my weekly city manager's report, and then I'm going to get out of here.
Okay, onward.
The city manager's report for February 27, 2018. Beach and Prospect Street traffic signal has been fully activated. The signboards were used to alert motorists and for everybody to understand the new traffic specialization. I've heard no complaints. Matter of fact, we had a gentleman the other night who said he was against the traffic light, but after installed was pleasantly surprised that it's actually been a really good thing, and he now is a big supporter of the traffic light. The HPAC's first musical was this past weekend, the 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee. Congrats to the success of the first musical. This Saturday, March 3rd, 8 p.m., Roy Wood Jr. and Michelle Wolf will be performing at the HPAC. You can contact them for information and tickets. This is part of the Pack the House series.
Sold out.
It is sold out.
I think so.
I knew it was closed, but I didn't know
Very
if it
close
was.
if it's not.
Okay. Our recreation department is preparing to host our annual Easter egg hunt on March 28th, Johnson Park Turf Field. Flyers will detail and will be distributed soon. And as previously stated, the potholes hotline is 201-646-5058. If you see a pothole that needs repair, please report it to our hotline or our DPW, and we will address it. This would complete the city manager's report, and I thank you for your patience.
What was,
Say that number again?
yeah, what's the number?
The telephone number again is 201-646-5058.
Thank you. Okay. On to city business, Resolution 67-18, which is still tabled, it's going to remain tabled. So we're going to move to Resolution 68-18.
Final adoption of ordinance number 3, 2018, an ordinance authorizing 15-year tax exemption for project to be constructed by Mansion House Urban Renewal LLC, an urban renewal entity pursuant to the long-term tax exemption law.
Okay.
This ordinance, we need a
Need a motion to open to public?
Offer.
Roll call?
Councilwoman Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Sims. Councilman Pataglia.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Anybody from the public who'd like to speak on this ordinance and this ordinance only, please come forward. Seeing no one, motion to close to the public.
Offer.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilwoman Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Sims. Councilman Pataglia.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Need a motion to adopt this ordinance, please.
Offer.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilwoman Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Sims. Councilman Pataglia.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye.
Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Hackensack, County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, that ordinance number 3, 2018 has passed its second and final reading and is hereby adopted.
Thank you. Resolution 69-18.
Final adoption of ordinance 4/2018, an ordinance adopting 22 Sussex Street redevelopment plan consisting of Block 208, Lot 22.
Need a motion to open to the public on this, please?
Offer.
Roll call?
Councilwoman Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Sims.
Aye.
Councilman Pataglia.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Anybody from the public who'd like to speak on 22 Sussex Street, please come forward.
Yes, good evening, Kathleen Salvo, 47 Lodi Street. Is this the old Social Security building?
Yes.
Right. Were they paying taxes when they were Social Security, or were they on the tax roll then? How does that work?
I don't remember.
I think it would have to do with whether they own the property or not, or if they were leasing the property. They're a federal, Social Security is a federal agency, so I guess they wouldn't be paying taxes if they own the lot, but I don't believe they own the lot, so I'd have to double check on that. I believe there were taxes being paid. Sir?
Social Security was not paying taxes.
Not paying taxes,
New one
okay.
is paying taxes.
All right, so how did they estimate what the property's worth?
Question for the assessor, I know the answer.
Okay, so are they paying taxes now, they're on the tax rolls? Because a lot of this property, I mean, all our land went up, and a lot of this other property is on the redevelopment, their land didn't go up, so I was wondering who's doing this. Okay, so they will be paying taxes, and there's a problem there or something with this piece of property?
The geo
Mr. Dibbs,
problem.
is there a problem with this, that they're holding it up?
No, I expect that they're going to be coming to the planning board soon. There was some minor geotech that they had to overcome geotechnical. It's
Okay.
going forward.
All right, because it's done. All right, so they're going to be in front of the planning board soon? More apartments?
Uh,
Yes.
80 to 90. We haven't seen the site plan
Well,
yet.
I mean, that's such great office space there, and everything is apartments. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
The space isn't right.
Anybody else from the public? Seeing none, motion to close.
Offer.
Roll call?
Councilwoman Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Sims.
Aye.
Councilman Pataglia.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Motion to adopt.
Offer.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilwoman Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Sims.
Aye.
Councilman Pataglia.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye.
Resolution number 7018.
No, I
final-
thought you had, I'm sorry, I thought you had more on 6918 to close. I'm sorry. Is there anything more on that?
Be it resolved by the City
Thank
Council
you.
of the City of Hackensack,
That's
County
what I
of
was waiting
Bergen,
for.
State of New Jersey, that ordinance number 4/2018 has passed its second and final reading and is hereby adopted.
Thank you. Now it's Resolution 70-18.
Final adoption of ordinance 5/2018, an ordinance creating Chapter 111 of the Code of the City of Hackensack entitled Massage Establishments.
Okay, I need a motion to open this to the public, please.
Offer.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilwoman Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Sims.
Aye.
Councilman Pataglia.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Anybody from the public who'd like to speak on this ordinance and this ordinance only, please come forward. Seeing nobody from the public, motion to close to the public.
Offer.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilwoman Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Sims.
Aye.
Councilman Pataglia.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Do you have to finish now? A motion to adopt. I'm sorry. No,
Offer.
no,
I'll offer.
we're not in tune yet,
Second.
Allison.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilwoman Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Sims.
Aye.
Councilman Pataglia.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye.
Be it resolved by the City of Council of the City of Hackensack, County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, that ordinance number 5/2018 has passed its second and final reading and is hereby adopted.
Thank you. Resolution 71-18.
Final adoption of ordinance number 6/2018, an ordinance to amend Chapter 170 of the Code of Hackensack, Vehicles and Traffic to restrict parking on certain sections of Summit Avenue except for resident parking permit holders.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
Offer.
Roll call?
Councilwoman Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Sims.
Aye.
Councilman Pataglia.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Anybody from the public who'd like to speak on this ordinance and this ordinance only, please come forward. Seeing no one, motion to close.
Offer.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilwoman Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Sims.
Aye.
Councilman Pataglia.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Motion to adopt it, please.
Offer.
Roll call?
Councilwoman Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino?
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Sims?
Aye.
Councilman Pataglia?
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus?
Aye.
Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Hackensack, County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, that ordinance number 6, 2018 has passed its second and final reading and is hereby adopted.
Thank you. Resolution 72-18.
Introduction of ordinance number 7, 2018, an ordinance to amend Chapter 112 of the Code of the City of Hackensack, Noise, to adopt a noise control ordinance based upon the model ordinance prepared by the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection pursuant to the New Jersey Noise Control Act.
Need a motion, please?
Offer. Second.
Roll call?
Councilwoman Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Sims.
Aye.
Councilman Pataglia.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye.
Be it resolved that the above ordinance, being ordinance 7, 2018, as introduced, does now pass on its first reading, and that said ordinance shall be considered for final passage at a meeting to be held on March 13th, 2018, at 8 p.m. or soon thereafter, as the matter can be reached at the regular meeting place of the City Council. At such time and place, all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance, and that the city clerk be and she is hereby authorized to direct to publish said ordinance according to law with a notice of its introduction and passage on first reading, and of the time and place when and where said ordinance will be further considered for final passage.
Okay, thank you. Resolution 73-18.
Introduction of ordinance number 8, 2018, an ordinance to amend Chapter 170 of the Code of the City of Hackensack, Vehicles and Traffic, to delete time limit parking on certain sections of Summit Avenue that are instead being established as resident parking.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilwoman Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Sims.
Aye.
Councilman Pataglia. Mayor LaBrus.
Aye.
Be it resolved that the above ordinance, being ordinance 8, 2018, as introduced, does now pass on its first reading, and that said ordinance shall be considered for final passage at a meeting to be held on March 13th, 2018, at 8 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the matter can be reached at the regular meeting place of the City Council. At such time and place, all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance, and that the city clerk be and she is hereby authorized and directed to publish said ordinance according to law with a notice of its introduction and passage on first reading, and of the time and place when and where said ordinance will be further considered for final passage.
Thank you. Resolution 74-18.
Introduction of ordinance 9, 2018, a bond ordinance providing for the acquisition of 2 garbage trucks and improvements to the Main Street streetscape by and in the city of Hackensack in the county of Bergen, state of New Jersey, appropriating $800,000 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $761,800 bonds or notes of the city of Hackensack to finance part of the cost thereof.
May I have a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
Councilwoman Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Sims.
Aye.
Councilman Pataglia.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye.
Be it resolved that the above ordinance, being ordinance 9, 2018, as introduced, does now pass on first reading, and that said ordinance shall be considered for final passage at a meeting to be held on March 13th, 2018, at 8 p.m. or as soon thereafter, as the matter can be reached at the regular meeting place of the City Council. At such time and place, all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance, and that the city clerk be and she is hereby authorized and directed to publish said ordinance according to law with a notice of its introduction and passage on first reading, and of the time and place when and where said ordinance will be further considered for final passage.
Thank you. Resolution 75-18.
Introduction of ordinance number 10, 2018, an ordinance authorizing 30-year tax exemption for market rate rental apartment project with retail and parking to be constructed by R&H Urban Renewal LLC, an urban renewal entity pursuant to the long-term tax exemption law NJSA 40A 20-1 et sec.
Okay, need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
Councilwoman Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Sims.
Aye.
Councilman Pataglia.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye.
Be it resolved that the above ordinance, being ordinance 10, 2018, as introduced, does now pass on its first reading, and that said ordinance shall be considered for final passage at a meeting to be held on March 13th, 2018, at 8 p.m. or as soon thereafter, as the matter can be reached at the regular meeting place of the City Council, and at such time and place, all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance, and that the city clerk be be and she is hereby authorized and directed to publish said ordinance according to law with a notice of its introduction and passage on first reading and of the time and place when and where said ordinance will be further considered for final passage.
Okay. Mr. Sorbo, now is not the time to speak on it. When we introduce an ordinance, you have to wait till
Yeah, but
that when
this
it's
is
introduced.
necessary, isn't it?
I'm sorry, this is not the time to speak about it.
Another 30-year tax break.
Mr. Sorbo, now, the next time it comes up, that's when we talk about it. At the adoption.
Rules are to be broken too. Okay.
Well, if you want to break state laws, you're right, but I'm not going to let it happen in here. Resolution 76-18.
Introduction of ordinance number 11, 2018, an ordinance authorizing long-term parking lease agreement with designated redeveloper of Block 308.01, Lot 3, Lot C, for 200 public parking spaces.
May I have a motion, please?
Offer.
Roll call?
Councilwoman Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Sims.
Aye.
Councilman Pataglia.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye.
Be it resolved that the above ordinance being ordinance 11, 2018, as introduced, does now pass on its first reading, and that said ordinance shall be considered for final passage at a meeting to be held on March 13th, 2018, at 8:00 p.m., or as soon thereafter as a matter can be reached at the regular meeting place of the City Council. At such time and place, all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance, and that the city clerk be and she is hereby authorized and directed to publish said ordinance according to law with a notice of its introduction and passage on first reading, and of the time and place when and where said ordinance will be further considered for final passage.
Thank you. Resolution 77-18.
Resolution authorizing tax refunds for duplicate payments and state board judgments.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilwoman Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Sims.
Aye.
Councilman Pataglia.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Resolution 78-18, I'm sorry, we're pulling 78-18, so Resolution 79-18.
Resolution authorizing the award of bid contract to Municipal Inspections Corp. for elevator inspections throughout the city of Hackensack.
Need a motion, please?
Offer. Second.
Roll call?
Councilwoman Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Sims.
Aye.
Councilman Pataglia.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Resolution 80-18.
Resolution authorizing award of bid contract to Deluxe International Trucks for the repair of international brand trucks owned by the city of Hackensack.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilwoman Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Sims.
Aye.
Councilman Pataglia.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Resolution 81-18.
Resolution authorizing the cancellation of grant fund balances.
Need a motion, please?
Offer. Second.
Roll call?
Councilwoman Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Sims.
Aye.
Councilman Pataglia.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Resolution 82-18.
Resolution authorizing change order number 1, D&L paving contractors for 2017 road improvement project.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilwoman Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Sims.
Aye.
Councilman Pataglia.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Resolution 83-18.
Resolution authorizing change order number 1, Smith-Sondy Asphalt Company for 2016-2017 road improvement project.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilwoman Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Sims.
Aye.
Councilman Pataglia.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. We're pulling 84-18. On to 85-18.
Resolution authorizing emergency temporary appropriation prior to the adoption of the budget.
Need a motion, please?
Offer. Second.
Councilwoman Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Sims.
Aye.
Councilman Pataglia.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Resolution 86-18.
Resolution authorizing the settlement of litigation entitled Kurt Brown versus the City of Hackensack,
We need a-
Justin Donovan versus the City of Hackensack, and Joseph Poma versus the City of Hackensack,
Need a
all
mo-
pending in the New Jersey Division of Workmen's Comp.
Thank you. Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilwoman Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Sims.
Aye.
Councilman Pataglia.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. And payment of bills, Resolution 87-18.
Offer.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilwoman Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Sims.
Aye.
Councilman Pataglia.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Before I go into the consent agenda, does anybody have any conflictions or anything that needs to be pulled? That's Resolution 88-18 through 96-18. Hearing none, continue with the consent agenda, please.
It consists of 88-2018 through 96-2018. Resolution authorizing ambulance reimbursement. Resolution authorizing release of escrow for 25 Green Street. Resolution authorizing release of escrow for 56 Moonachie Road. Resolution authorizing release of escrow for 136-140 State Street. Resolution authorizing release of escrow for 155 South Street. Resolution authorizing refund for duplicate building department permit payment. Resolution authorizing recreation refund for youth basketball registration. Resolution appointing Danielle Holland Garcia to the Rent Stabilization Board. And resolution authorizing raffle license for the Hackensack Rotary Club, Battlebrook Women's Club, Heightened Independence and Progress, and Holy Trinity Church.
May I have a motion to accept the consent agenda as it was read, please?
Offer.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilwoman Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Sims.
Aye.
Councilman Pataglia.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Very good. Okay. With that, I need a motion to open to the public, please.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilwoman Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Sims.
Aye.
Councilman Pataglia.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Thank you. Anybody from the public who'd like to speak, please come forward. You will have 3 minutes. Give your name and address to the clerk, please. Thank you.
Greetings, Mayor, Council.
Ryan, how are you?
Ryan Roy, Autism Advocate, 167 North West Wing Ave, Southbrook, New Jersey, 07663. First off, I want to really thank the Mayor and Council for recognizing me as the individual with a minor developmental disability to actually, push forward, to have the Township of Southbrook, along with the boroughs of Emerson, Moonachie, North Arlington, and Gloucester to become designated stigma-free, and also in reference to Black History Month. I know Deputy Mayor Sims actually quoted about the understanding about respecting culture, heritage, and tradition. And I know that there's a lot of transition of changes that actually happened with the old M&M building that's being renovated as a Hackensack Recreation building, and also that it actually push it to Logan Center. And I really kind of respect the move for what's happening, and also to know that Black History Month, it has to be celebrated in a good way. And I know you did a fantabulous job doing the two folks who actually were given a proclamation, and along with today's meeting, that two people were proclamated as well. Since I was inspired by yesterday's, that I saw a film at AMC in Garden State Mall, Black Panther. It's based on the Marvel comics, and I know that culture and everything else that's in Wakanda is kind of very important. And also, lastly, I know that I came last year in October, and I want to talk to Councilwoman Von Rudenberg about what's going on with the Access for All and everything else. And I actually heard from Mr. Ehrenberg's report about that the roads and everything else being established, and make sure that the safety for people with disabilities remain as a high priority as they cross the street without any problems, and it has to be ADA accessibility as well. So hopefully, if you can actually fill me in for what's happening, it'd be awesome. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, please.
Good evening, Carolyn Davis, 192 Stanley Place. First of all, I want to thank you for honoring Reverend Dr. Curry, a senior pastor in the Black community, and Deacon Farrar, senior member at Mount Zion. They have served not only their own churches, but they have served the community as well, the community of Hackensack. So thank you for honoring them tonight. Also, thank you for the recognition of the stigma-free, but I stand here, I thank you for the recognition, but it's not for us. The recognition is for those who are mentally handicapped. I thank you for recognizing that they need the attention that we are now giving them. I was very adamant on the fact that mentally ill people have to be treated a certain way, and as a nurse, I realized that they had to be approached a certain way. And I actually spoke to Captain Aquila about a situation that I saw and how the police handled it, and they handled it the way it should be. So it's for the people that recognition is for. I'm enjoying State Street. I'm very happy that it's back to two-way.
So many people are saying that. I'm sorry. That is saying.
I still get a little nervous when I make a left by the police station, okay? And I also get nervous when I make a right because you couldn't make a right-hand turn on right there before, but I enjoy that. I don't know about Main Street yet, but right now I'm enjoying State Street, that it's back to two-way. As far as red lights or signal lights, I'd like you to also consider another place. There was another accident on the corner of Railroad and Central the other day. There are always accidents at that corner. It's a dangerous corner not only for cars, but for children when they're coming home from school. So while you're considering red lights, I hope you look into that situation because I don't have a police report, but I think a police report will show you there are numerous accidents, and I brought that up before, at that corner. And lastly, as part of Black History, I would like to publicly thank Sissy Sharif and all the people who helped her put on the Black History Luncheon that was held today at the Logan Center. Lori Manning from the dance school who had the dance evolution to see those young people come out and dance today. It was a beautiful community affair. It was attended by many, and I give her a lot of credit. She showed her Hackensack spirit. Hackensack spirit says to forge on. She had a dream, she had determination, she believed she could do it, and she did it. And I want to publicly thank her for it.
Rich Serbo, 46 Spring Valley Avenue, Hackensack. I always like to welcome the public to the new censorism here. It's arbitrary rulings, and please join us to have a voice for the public again. Excuse me?
Please address the council, not the camera.
Are you ordering me to do that? I can't look that way?
That's the appropriate rule of decorum.
Cut my time off.
That's the appropriate rule of decorum when you are addressing a governmental body, is to address the council, not a camera.
He interrupted me, okay? All right, you interrupted me, and I can look at the camera if I want to, okay? So let's start with the lawsuits, okay? Right at you, Mr. Kleinman, and the fanning of the flames of this internecine war. And it's the mayor and it's this council. In 2013, when you first ran, it was diseases this, diseases that. It's still going on. They're going to fight back, and there's going to be continual lawsuits, okay? It's your problem, and I'll quote Diogenes for you, okay? Okay, we have 2 ears and 1 tongue, okay, so that we would listen more and talk less. So cut the talking, John. You're not a stooge in a bar, okay? You're the mayor, okay? Although maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong, okay? I'm sorry, okay? So please, it's costing the city, and you're going to continue it. It's going on for many, many years. And it's just, you're fanning the flames of it. You always talk about them. Leave it alone, okay? Leave it alone and let it go, okay? Okay, also, I left a message today for our city manager. I didn't call the pothole line because I wanted to speak to you personally, that Prospect Avenue north of Passaic Street and then Prospect Avenue North all the way to Spring Valley is like London after the bombing, okay? It is, that road should be closed, okay? And it's absolutely ridiculous. And the praise we hear about Hackensack and going down a road like that, are you kidding me? It's ridiculous. It should be repaired now, okay? So, also, now that I'm up here, and I couldn't say anything about another 30-year tax abatement, I'll just get my 2 cents in about that again, okay? Because you continually give those tax abatements away, okay? All the assessed property from on those development sites went down, so they're paying less taxes on that property, and all our taxes have gone up, okay?
Okay, Mr. Serbo.
Okay? So please answer those questions, all of them, all right? Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's right.
Sal Moretti used to live at 390 Park Street and built the apartments at 391 Park Street in 1958. Stayed there for 40 years. Just on the basis of what was just said, I have mentioned to Paramus with their 9 shopping centers that they should work out something with Hackensack so that after all the county seats should share the wealth generated by Paramus and by the central oasis which has occurred with the opening of the George Washington Bridge. I see no reason why Route 17 going north and south from New York State should not increase the wealth of Hackensack. But again, going back to our Mayor Ziza, who was just mentioned, if you look at the TV, you will see that Greer Garson appeared in Mrs. Miniver, which was an Academy Award winner in 1942. Shown along with it is Mr. Blabbermouth, who is a 19-minute short film with a look-alike for Frank C. Ziza. Frank C. Ziza landed in North Africa. At that time, it was overrun with Rommel. And I also was designated to North Africa at that time, of course, a child prodigy at that time. The issue, of course, was that he was arrested as soon as he landed for his own safety, thank God. And he, of course, was able to eventually be released and return to the United States to open his insurance business and run for political office. I opposed him in 1981, and Stephen Moses, who was the city attorney, was his campaign manager. But going back on the long-term issues involved, Destination Casablanca was a 2017 book written about the movie Casablanca and about the phenomenon of North Africa and Casablanca and George Patton's landing in North Africa, etc. And of course, I was very familiar with that, working in the FDR administration, and of course, it was very controversial. I have 256, 57, 58, 59, signing off. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Mr. Moretti. Next, please.
Regina DePasco, Parker Avenue. On the stigma-free, yes, thank you for reading the pledge tonight, and all of you should be going online to sign it. Everybody, and I will look at the camera because there is no law that says I cannot. Everybody out there should go to hackensack.org stigma-free to sign the petition. Unless you want a lawsuit for being a Nazi, one who is considered unfairly oppressive or needlessly strict, then, you know, knock yourself out. But then that's on my dime, too. The Black History Luncheon was wonderful, and like I said before, no city representation was horrible. Nobody went. I did look up 22 Sussex Street. Hey, thank God I get internet in here. You haven't blocked that yet. Yeah, next time it will be, right? Tax records show that the government hasn't owned it since 2013. They should be paying taxes on it. All those properties on Main Street, those are investments. They will be making money on it. They should be paying taxes. I do not know why their assessments are not going up like residential. But, you know, I don't want to talk about, I'm talking about the assessment. I don't want to talk about my personal taxes. You keep wanting to bring that up, Mrs. Canestrino. That's not the issue. The residents of Hackensack are getting creamed because our assessments keep going up. The land is not going up on Main Street, and that is nearly criminal, nearly, okay? And you just seem to want to keep us mushrooms. We're mushrooms. You want to keep us in the dark and feed us manure. That's what you're doing.
Next, please.
Good evening, Paul Nichols. Thank you for taking the pledge, the stigma-free pledge. I could stand here every night and say there's no better time than now to talk about mental health, and I talk about it all the time. But with everything that's going on, I think it really is a good time. And like you said, it was great to see you there today at the county address. So it's really good that we're moving forward, and you're allowing us to move forward with everything that the town, the whole city is doing, you know, getting involved and the signs going up and everything. So it's really good, and it is important. I would like to see, I said this in the mental health board meeting last night, I would like to see that every school mandates parents to take some sort of training course before their kids are allowed in school. You know, I think it's not a bad thing. Everybody, it's great. And you said this before, Mayor. It takes a village. It takes everybody to be a community. And I think it's great what this city is doing with that. And you know, so thank you very much. Have a good night.
Thank you. Mr. Coley?
Mr. Coley, Prospect Ave. In regards to the two-way on State Street, it is nice. It is very nice, unless you're going up Salem Street to make a left, going up
Tricky.
Bergen Street to make a left.
Those two streets are tough, I agree.
They almost got killed again
We
tonight.
knew we were going to have a couple tweaks, and we'll figure it out. I think it might have to be with removing some parking spaces so you can see, because the light, the sign, the sight line is a little hard with the cars there. I'd actually mentioned this already, and I think that will fix that. I think the issue on Salem Street is you have the light so close to make the left there, cars are backed up, so you can't get out to do it. So
The other thing I have is I like the little squares that you painted, which is an excessive amount of paint, but they look pretty. I drove up
where's
from
that? Everybody's talking. Which square?
State Street.
Oh, okay.
I drove from Passaic Street all the way to Essex Street. I counted over 72 spots without meters. We renovated the street. We spent a lot of time on the street. I don't understand how we could not make all the spots have meters.
They're going to have meters. That's in the
It
process.
should have been
We're
done
working on it.
when you did the work. On Beach Street, we put that nice light in. We also still have the crossing guard there. Now, the lighting from red and green should have been enough to get the children to cross the street on their own. But she stops the light at whatever leisure she wants to cross the kids. She's causing people to back up on those streets. It was a nice, the last thing I have is, when we spend all this money, other towns put that up to a referendum to the public. If we're gonna spend $8 or $9 million on a dome, $8 or $9 million on a basketball arena, I think that should be the public's right to say, yes, I'm willing to increase my taxes by so much money. I don't think this council has the right to spend $35 million. And now we have $30 million from the last chief. We also have $3 million coming in from the new chief, the chief's brother-in-law. I don't see where the money's coming from. And I thought we voted on the spending of the money for the garbage trucks. but I see we're spending the money again. And originally, one of the councilmen made a proud statement years ago. He hired another mechanic to work on the existing garbage trucks, and the fleet is A-OK. Now we're buying all new trucks. I guess that didn't work so well. I'm over. Thank you.
You're welcome, sir. Anybody else from the public?
Okay, Catherine Salvo again, good evening. The traffic light is good on Beach Street. The crossing guard needs to work in conjunction with it, so something has to be there. All right, we put one there, but we took two and put one down. And we're waiting for accidents to happen. Salem is a disaster. We need that light back. And Sussex is a disaster. I told the city manager the first day I rode there and saw that. We're going to have major accidents there. There was no reason to take those two down. And they took the sign down, no turn on red on Central Avenue. That's very important there. You can't cross to go to the post office. You get killed. It's just not working. State Street is good. You can navigate the turns. We're going to spend a lot of money on Main Street two ways, and that should have been put up to referendum because that's not going to service anybody, and we really don't need Main Street to be two ways. Today, I had the pleasure of attending the luncheon at the Logan. It was excellent, and I'm so glad that these people took the opportunity, Sissy and company, to have this happen, to make it happen. To see those kids performing and all the time they spent in rehearsal, and they performed with such enthusiasm, and it was just great. I mean, the whole afternoon was great. And to have the city manager give us excuses why not to have it instead of looking for a solution to have it, I think that was a nice thing to do. But there were a couple of great speakers, and one thing I learned, they said they learned a lot from their elders. They learned a lot from their elders, and it was very important to learn from their elders. And at that point, I'd like to tell our city manager, our city mayor and manager and everybody, that at the planning board meeting, when all the seniors got up and they said, do not build the senior citizen center in M&M, do not spend this money, and you're insisting on jamming this facility at $8 million down our throats for a lot of wasted money. And it was, like I said, the affair was good, and I'm so happy that these ladies went, did it and had this thing. And there was no representation from this for the city, and that was terrible. But a lot of these old people have contributed so much through the years, through taxes and paying for all these expensive things that you're doing, and they're not being recognized. They think maybe because it wasn't an election year and you weren't campaigning and you didn't feel you had to attend or give them a lunch. But I'm very proud that they did it, and I was very happy to have been there. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please. Okay. Mrs. Von Rudenborg?
Good evening.
Now we got to close it to the public.
Oh, motion to close to the public, sorry.
Offer. Second.
Councilwoman Von Rudenberg.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Sims.
Aye.
Councilman Battaglia.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye.
Good evening. I just want to thank the city manager and all the department heads for the presentation. Every day you go through and you see all the work that everyone puts into everything, and you kind of sometimes take it for granted everything's running smoothly, but to see the numbers and see the results on paper, it's nice to see that and have that information every once in a while. Thanks to the police officers that have been on patrolling the schools during arrival and dismissal. When they're there, you could definitely tell a difference in the behavior of the parents dropping off the children, the parking situation. So we appreciate it when you guys are there. Mr. Coley, I was actually thinking the same thing today. I noticed on Beach Street the light's great, but the crossing guard was crossing kids across the green light. So I think that's something that we have to look into, because obviously it's an issue. They're just probably not used to it being there, but it does help with the traffic and it does help with the kids' safety. But just looking into behavior of the crossing guard. The Easter egg hunt, it's on the 28th, March 28th. I just want to, as someone that goes with little children every year, just try to remind the parents that it's for the kids. Last year they separated into two different groups, and the older kids that went out on their own did great. Everyone came back with eggs, and then the younger kids who had their parents there, there were some kids hysterically crying because they got no eggs because the parents decided to run forward and grab a bunch of eggs, and it was just kind of it was kind of crazy to see. So just a reminder, if you're there, it's for the kids, and if you see a child crying that doesn't have eggs and you have a bunch of them, just hand one to them. It'll probably make them stop. It was a little crazy last year. And thank you to the Stigma Free Committee. We really do appreciate it. Just I was thinking for what Paul and Ryan said, I agree that empathy and compassion is something that definitely should be taught to children. And unfortunately, as a school teacher, a prior school teacher with special needs students, you don't always see that. I have to say many times with most students, they're great. Once in a while, you don't see it. And, it just makes you think every day how, what you should instill in your children. And teachers nowadays have a lot to focus on with testing and getting, different curriculum, and that kind of stuff falls to the wayside, but it starts at home. But also, schools, we could look into something, Ryan and Paul, maybe something we could start with the schools about, things to look for, and even, with the cyberbullying and things like that. I think that's a great initiative. And I was just talking about maybe a way in the summer when we do the movies under the stars, the movie Wonder. I don't know if anyone saw that. Yeah, it's a feel-good movie about, accepting everyone and looking past disabilities, and maybe that's something that the Alliance could work on, and maybe with the city and showing that over the summer. And that's it. Have a good night. Thanks for coming out.
Thank you. Thanks, Steph. Again, too, I'd like to thank you, Ted, for giving a glowing report, and I'd like to thank all the city employees that enabled you to give a glowing report, because we certainly have accomplished a lot this year, and the good work and the hard work does not go unnoticed by this council. Congratulations to the honorees again, Reverend Curry and Deacon Farrar. Many, many, many years. 50 years in the church is quite an accomplishment, quite a milestone to reach. And again, it's not just their contributions to their religious affiliations, but their contributions to the community that are so worthy of being noticed. I'd like to say thanks to the Stigma Free volunteers. Everyone's time is valuable to them, and to give up some of your time and be volunteers for such a very worthy cause, the city is very, very appreciative of that. And again, anyone out there in internet or TV land that sees this and wants to be involved, we welcome more feet on the ground and more good ideas. And again, Paul, you mentioned some interesting things. Get those ideas to the city council, and we'll most certainly consider them. We want to, again, not only raise awareness, but help make families aware of what help is out there for them, and that they need to feel comfortable in seeking that help, because that's a big part of what my understanding of Stigma Free is all about. And yes, Regina, we will be signing them, and hopefully we get many, many people to sign those online as well. There were a number of items on here for redevelopment tonight. There was 50 Main Street, 22 Sussex, and Lot C. Yes, Lot C was here for a pilot agreement. Just so everyone understands, Lot C had been city-owned property, so Lot C was not paying any taxes to the city at all. The estimates are that when Lot C is developed and rented, year one, their contribution to the tax rolls and a pilot payment will be close to $1 million. It'll be about $975,000 in year one, only to increase as those rents increase. So that is a very valuable addition, again, to our means to bring more revenue into the city, and it will be a wonderful, wonderful asset to the city, again, as coming across the bridge, entering the city from that direction. The drawings, the renderings are really, really quite lovely. Happy to see 2 more garbage trucks. I'm happy to see 2 more garbage trucks. Our commitment was that we were going to do 2 a year. Tonight, there was the bond for another 2, or the second 2 for this year. Yes, we did, Chris, we buckled down and we repaired as many, and we limped along so that we didn't hurt our men or have our DPW folks suffer without garbage trucks, but we knew that they needed to be replaced. It was just doing it in an affordable way so we don't hurt our taxpayers. So happy to see that that was on the agenda for tonight. Questions about the assessment and the taxes. I know I've explained this many, many, many times, but it seems I'm not getting the message across, so I will try yet again to make it as simple as I can. Your tax is based on 2 things: the assessed value of your home and the amount of money that we need to raise to support the city, the schools, and a small portion of the county. That's called the tax levy. Those are the two things that make up how your taxes are computed. As far as assessed value, by us doing rolling assessments, we're keeping the value of your home current. That is beyond the control of this council, city manager, city employees. This is based on comparative sales. So the way those values are determined is looking at homes that are currently selling in your neighborhoods, in our neighborhoods that are similar in yours, and that's how the assessed values are determined by this outside company that is doing that. What this has enabled us to do is by keeping that current, we've been able to minimize the number of tax appeals that we're seeing hit the city. Now, let's not forget, you, me, all of us out here, we're still paying off that $30 million that we inherited in tax appeals. We don't want that to happen again, right? So this is a very proactive way to stop that from happening. And as our CFO said at the earlier meeting, we can see the difference, and this is helping and this is working. But should you feel that your home is not fairly assessed, you are all welcome. Come in, make an appointment, or stop in to the tax assessor's office and go over it with them. You know, anyone can make a mistake. No one is 100% perfect. So if you feel, hey, this really doesn't look right to me, come in, they will explain it to you, and if an adjustment is necessary, they will do it. But, you know, take responsibility again. This is your home, your property. Come in, and we have qualified personnel here that will help you with that. Now, so there's the assessed value portion. What we can control as government is the increases to the tax levy, and that's what we've been working very, very hard in the city to do. And our goal was to get it below 2% and keep it there. And we were very proud last year to have our increases to the tax levy from the city be 1.67%. And we're going to work very hard again this year with our CFO to keep that number under 2%. Very, very important from a city perspective. Again, last year's tax increase, the Board of Education increase to the tax levy was over 5%. So that was the number that adversely affected the tax increase or the levy increase last year, just for your information. Okay, I think that's everything that's on my list. Again, if anyone has any questions, we're here after. We'll certainly have a one-on-one conversation with you. If not, have a nice evening, and thank you all for coming.
Okay.
To the two individuals that stated they didn't see a council member today, I haven't missed one of these events in 15 years. And the two individuals that spoke up today, I didn't see you today. So I guess we're even. Baseball registration of Hackensack is taking place Monday through Friday. It ends March 31st. Registration for soccer is online only. We still have open swim every Wednesday from 6 to 8:30. Reverend Curry, 50 years, you're almost as old as I am. I take my hat off to you. It's an honor to have heard you preach, and the community will miss you when you retire. I'm going to close with a little saying. Now that Black History Month is coming to an end, remember that no matter where we go, we should carry a piece of Black history in us. No matter what race we are impacted by Black history, remember to love one another and respect each other if you are one. If there is no struggle, there is no progress. Even though we have made many changes, we still have work to do. We need to learn to encourage, empower, and get involved in our community, and always strive to make the right choices. In memory of Black history and all year round, I salute you in advance. Thank you. Get home safe. God bless.
Leo? My condolences again to the city clerk Debbie, and congratulations to the honorees. And the only thing I have to say about the traffic by the school improved due to the police presence. And another thing is like now you go to court, to the municipal court, now you can pay your tickets, your fines, I think even you can get a bail with a credit card. So that they're going to improve the service. And we are working already to try to go around, to try to put some kind of control about these houses they call zombie houses. That property that really, they may be abandoned for a couple of years, and they got plywood on the doors, broken windows, so the building department is taking care of all these properties. And then have a good night, get safe.
Thank you. I want to start, I know with the earlier session I had mentioned our city clerk lost her dad this month, so please say a prayer for Debbie Carlson and for her father and the whole family. Tough time for her, but she will be returning with us shortly. I want to thank Allison for an outstanding job in her absence. You've done a great job. We appreciate it. I see our department heads here tonight sticking it out. I want to thank you guys for coming tonight. I know you'll be home watching whatever you guys watch on TV, but instead you're here, and we appreciate that as well. I want to give my congratulations to the recipients of the proclamations tonight for Black History Month. It was you know, celebrating Black History Month is for everybody. It's not just for black people, it's for all of us, and it makes us realize that we are all the same, and we're much closer together than most people think. And it teaches you, life is a learning lesson, and it has taught me quite a bit, and I appreciate that. Beach and Prospect, I think, I can tell you as an employee of Hackensack Hospital who travels that way at rush hour, the last week or two since this light has been up, I have never seen it. The traffic was always backed up to Atlantic from Beach for people coming out of the hospital trying to get through all the way up to almost the entrance to the hospital. Haven't seen that yet, so it's definitely working with the flow of traffic on Prospect going northbound and southbound as well, so it seems to be working well. Today, I was at went over at lunchtime to the State of the County address given by our County Executive, Jim Tedesco. County has a lot going on. It's very similar to what's going on in Hackensack. Actually gave Hackensack some kudos and brought up the city during his address and talked about the joint project with the signalization on Main Street and other streets in town, how we joined efforts in that. And we continue to hopefully find ways to use the county more to our advantage in the future. And hopefully we'll be meeting with Mr. Tedesco and some of his administration soon. Last weekend was as was mentioned before, was the first musical theatrical presentation in the Hack Pack, and it was a great little play called the 25th Annual Putnam County Spelling Bee, and it was quite clever. It was quite good. They had a nice crowd there. It was tickets were cheap. I think there were $20 for somebody to go. It was a really good show, and had a great time, and I think they did pretty well, so that's excellent. This Saturday, I believe we have a sold-out show with Roy Wood and Michelle Wolf coming in. I urge you, if you like entertainment and you want to see some good entertainment, go on HackPack, that's HACPAC.org, and check out the whole lineup for the upcoming years on there. Our Easter egg hunt is coming up. I don't have the date here, but I just want to make sure everybody's aware of that. It'll be done in sessions. And I implore the parents to please follow the rules with your children. It gets a little crazy out there. Last year I was there, and I know others saw it. Little kids were crying they didn't get any Easter eggs, and other kids have like 200. So we have to be fair with that. It's pothole season, folks. You're going to see some serious potholes this time of year. This is when it all starts, when the weather gets warm again. The ground's frozen, then it gets warm, it heaves, opens up the macadam. Salt gets in there, water, and next thing you know, you got a giant pothole. So call the pothole hotline. To say that fast 5 times. 211-646-5058. I'm so happy that we're ordering the 2 new garbage trucks as promised. As part of the 6 that we started with originally that we had planned on getting. You saw pictures during the presentation of how nice the trucks look. They're out there. I think we're still using a couple lease trucks for recycling. They're going back soon, so we won't be paying any of that. Reverend Davis mentioned Railroad and Central putting a light there. I don't disagree with that. I just, you know, railroad tracks and lights sometimes have a problem coinciding with each other. So that would be a serious, we need to take a serious look and do a good traffic study on that. Mr. Serbo, I couldn't disagree with you more. You're sitting here and you're talking about censorship while you're looking at a camera that we provide for the whole public for you to see. It makes absolutely no sense.
But so we want to shut it down?
No, absolutely no. Don't want to shut the camera down.
That's coming, yeah.
No, it's not coming. We're the ones who put it there. Just for your information.
I think you had to, didn't you?
No, we didn't have to put it there.
You didn't?
Absolutely not. That was our
We
choice.
pay for it.
Yeah, right.
You're right, you pay for it.
Thank you.
So do I.
We pay for everything.
All I'm saying is you can't tell people you're being censored while there's a camera there for everybody to see, because if you were being censored, it wouldn't be there in the first place. Thank you.
Talk to your attorney about telling him not to look at it.
Thank you. Paul Nichols, Ryan, Regina, all the others from the Stigma-Free Committee, I want to thank you for all your hard work. I think the book Wonder should be mandatory in all schools. I think the movie should be mandatory for you all to see. Great storyline, and anybody who isn't moved by that movie, I would, I'd have to question whether they were sleeping through it or not. State Street, I think, is going very well. We do have a couple of tweaks, like were mentioned, that need to be done. Beach Street, if they're crossing guard, we'll need to check into that. She needs to work with the lights, not against the lights. What else? I had something else here too. Oh, number one, I'm not in a best of mood over the last few weeks since we've had this shooting in our country, and we lost more lives needlessly as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, we took some shots tonight. I can't remember the word was used, but we should be ashamed of ourselves because we didn't attend an event. Well, I was invited to the State of the Union address a week and a half ago, and I received an invitation to today's event yesterday at noon, okay? I work full-time. I have serious decisions to make on how I spend my time going places. So for somebody to come up here and say I should be ashamed of myself for not being somewhere when I probably work 70 to 80 hours a week doing this stuff is an insult to me. So I'm sorry I couldn't be there today. Maybe if I had known a little earlier, I would have been there. But this council was invited yesterday at 11 o'clock to that event. People go on with their lives and make plans, all right? So I need to know about it first, that I'm invited.
No way. Not true.
Okay.
No. No.
So with that said, I wish everybody would, say a prayer for all these kids down in Florida that lost their kids and adults that lost their lives, teachers, coaches, whatever. And we as a country need to get a hold on where we're going with this stuff because it's really getting out of control. It's a combination of all the thing everybody's fighting over. It's funny because it's a combination of everything, and it's not just school shootings in general. It's I mean, really, when you think about it, I mean, we lose a lot of children in school shootings, but nowhere near as amount as we use to suicides, mental health issues causing suicides. It's a tremendous amount, thousands more than we lose in school shooting, thousands. So we got to look at the whole picture of what's going on here. Something's changed from when I was young to now, right? Things are not the same. There's outside influence. There's forces that we, the adults in this room or older people, didn't have when we were young, all right? We didn't deal with the internet. We didn't deal, if I was bullied, it was nose to nose, all right? So you dealt with it one way. You got beat up or you finally punched the guy back. That's the way it works. That's schoolyard mentality. Today it's different. There are keyboard cowboys out there beating up on kids that should not, it shouldn't be allowed. And I'm wondering when the time's going to come when the Facebooks and the Instagram people, the people that own these companies, are going to be held accountable for what they let happen on their websites. I think it's ridiculous that somebody can go on there and torment and torture a 12 or 13-year-old at the developing part of their lives and get away saying anything they want to them, and a friend of my family just lost a 15-year-old in Saddlebrook last year. The mother came home and found her child had hung himself. it's such a sad state of affairs to even think of what that must be like for that mom. And it was in your town. And it's just an atrocity. So we need to me, is it guns? Yes. Is it mental illness? Yes. Is it internet? Yes. Is it websites? Yes. Is it all the other things? Yes. Is it something they put in our food now compared to when I was? Probably yes. I'm telling you, it's a combination of things, but we really need to get a grasp on it because it's not going to stop. If you take one of those things I just said out, it's going to continue anyway. So anyway, with that, everybody say a prayer for these kids. If you have kids, hug them. Grandkids, hug them. And get home safe. Thanks. Appreciate it. Motion to close.
Offer. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.